Does belief in God cause suffering? This is a profound and challenging question, one that touches on the deepest issues of human existence: faith and the nature of reality. Many people have wrestled with this question throughout history, especially because suffering is such a universal experience. Some say that belief in God causes suffering, while others argue the opposite, that belief in God actually helps people endure and overcome suffering. Today, we will explore this important question carefully and thoroughly. We will begin by looking at what Buddhism, a major religion that holds a distinctive view on suffering and the divine, teaches about God and suffering. Then, we will examine whether belief in God does not cause suffering, but instead offers hope. Finally, we will consider how suffering is truly alleviated. So, let's begin this journey with an open mind and heart. Part 1. Buddhist claims about God and suffering. To truly understand the question, it's important to consider the perspective of Buddhism, which has influenced millions of people worldwide. Buddhism offers a unique and ancient worldview that challenges many common assumptions about God and suffering. At the heart of Buddhist teaching is the concept of dukkha, which is often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inherent part of life. It arises primarily from craving, attachment, and ignorance. This means that our desires wanting things to be different than they are, and our failure to see reality as it truly is, trap us in a cycle of pain and dissatisfaction. Buddhism presents the Four Noble Truths. 1. Life is suffering, dukkha. 2. Suffering is caused by craving and attachment. 3. Suffering can end by eliminating craving. 4. The way to end suffering is through the Eightfold Path, a disciplined practice of ethical living, meditation, and wisdom. Significantly, classical Buddhism does not affirm the existence of a personal creator God who governs the universe. Instead, it teaches a non-theistic worldview. Many Buddhists regard the idea of God as a human-made concept, an illusion that keeps people trapped in misunderstanding rather than leading to true liberation. From this perspective, belief in a personal God, especially a God who judges and intervenes, is often seen as problematic. Here are several key reasons why Buddhism claims that belief in God causes suffering. First, belief in God can create attachment to divine approval or fear of punishment. This can generate anxiety, guilt, or dependency, which deepen mental suffering instead of freeing people from it. Second, it may encourage passivity or reliance on divine intervention rather than self-effort and mindfulness. Buddhism emphasizes individual responsibility to overcome suffering through disciplined practice, not through worship or faith in a deity. Third, historically and presently, beliefs in a personal God have sometimes led to conflict, intolerance, and violence between different religious groups, contributing to human suffering on a societal scale. Therefore, Buddhism argues that belief in God is itself a source of suffering, because it fosters illusions that prevent genuine freedom and peace. Part 2. Irrefutable evidence that God does not cause suffering. Now that we understand the Buddhist perspective, let's carefully evaluate whether belief in God actually causes suffering. When we look at history, philosophy, and real human experience, the evidence tells a very different story. First, suffering existed long before organized religion. For thousands of years, humans have faced natural disasters like earthquakes, floods, famines, and diseases. These tragedies struck long before major world religions were founded. If belief in God caused suffering, suffering would not have existed before religions existed, but it did. Second, suffering also occurs in non-theistic or atheistic societies. History records many secular regimes and societies where suffering, oppression, and cruelty were widespread. These societies did not base their suffering on belief in God. Often, they rejected the idea of God entirely, yet suffering was profound. This shows that suffering is not caused by belief in God. Third, many people who do believe in God testify that their faith gives them strength, hope, and peace during the most difficult trials. Believers often speak of how their trust in God helped them endure loss, illness, injustice, and grief. Instead of causing suffering, faith often provides a vital source of comfort and resilience. Fourth, from a philosophical standpoint, God is traditionally defined as all good, all-powerful, and all-knowing. If God caused suffering, It would contradict these essential characteristics. An all-good God would not desire suffering, an all-powerful God could prevent suffering, and an all-knowing God would understand the pain it causes. Instead, the presence of suffering is better explained as a consequence of a world that is broken, fallen, or corrupted, a world where free will, moral evil, natural decay, and randomness operate. The reality is that suffering exists because the world and humanity are imperfect, not because belief in God causes it. In light of this evidence, the claim that belief in God causes suffering cannot be sustained. Rather, belief in God often provides the hope and strength needed to face and overcome suffering. Part 3. The Gospel. How suffering is taken away by Jesus. So if belief in God does not cause suffering, what does the Christian faith say about suffering? The Gospel addresses suffering head-on, not by denying it or dismissing it, but by offering a solution, a hope that transforms suffering from a source of despair into a path toward ultimate healing. Jesus Christ, the central figure of Christianity, is unique in that he is believed to be God incarnate, God becoming human. Jesus experienced real human suffering in every way. He faced rejection, betrayal, pain, and ultimately crucifixion, a brutal death on a cross. In this, he fully entered into human suffering and shared its burden. But the story does not end with suffering. Through his death and resurrection, Jesus conquered sin, evil, and death itself. The root causes of suffering, brokenness, separation from God, and moral evil were defeated in him. Jesus offers forgiveness and eternal life to all who put their faith in him. This faith does not promise a life free of hardships, but it does promise a peace and hope that can sustain believers through every trial. The Bible offers this powerful promise in the book of Revelation. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. This points toward a future where suffering is fully and finally overcome. In the meantime, faith in Jesus transforms how suffering is experienced. It gives suffering meaning, strengthens believers, and assures them that God is present with them in their pain. It unites them with a loving God who walks alongside them and will one day restore all things perfectly. Thus, far from causing suffering, belief in Jesus Christ provides the ultimate hope, the hope of healing, restoration, and eternal joy. In conclusion, the question, does belief in God cause suffering, must be answered with a clear understanding. Belief in God does not cause suffering. Suffering is part of the brokenness of our world, a reality that affects everyone regardless of their beliefs. Yet the Christian gospel offers a powerful and transformative hope. Jesus Christ, God himself, entered into human suffering, defeated its root causes, promises a future where suffering will be no more. Will you come to him?